Hi, it's Tom and Mike, or Mike and Tom as we're better known, and we're here with Talk with Mike and Tom.
Tom, it's just great to be back on it. And I know one thing that's happening, probably our viewers don't know this, but we are using the new high-definition TriCaster to record our show. And if you've noticed, all of our 9 other shows so far, we've never been in the same shot together.
Got a bug right there.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're in the same shot together, and we have a bug, just like real
the
TV.
Bug.
Excellent.
So that's pretty cool. As long as we don't have subtitles. Now, some people say with your very thick Southern accent, you might need subtitles, but the bug would cover it up. I noticed that.
Tom, it looks like you've got a product placement issue over there on your camera.
I do, and I've always wanted
to
do the NASCAR product placement.
Okay,
So,
who's your favorite driver? Yeah.
Shout out to Pepsi. I don't know.
All right,
that.
there you
Anyway,
go. Well, I'm looking forward to our discussion today. There's just so many things going on, you know, from the coehp.tv and all the good things we're doing around here to all of the things that are happening in technology around the world. And so I'm really curious about what you're going to bring to the table for our discussion today.
Well, first you had an interview with the president yesterday. I think Jeff Conklin did that. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard it was terrific.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. Dr. Timothy came over, and boy, he was on there with Education Forum with Jeff Conklin and Greg Blaylock. They spent an hour of an interview.
Really?
Very stimulating talk. He talked about some things I'd never even heard about that's going on here at the Columbus State University. And let me tell you, I want to invite everyone to go to our on-demand site or watch it in our schedule when it comes back up. And that's Education Forum with the special edition with Dr. Timothy Mescon.
And I think Kenneth Grant's putting that up today on the site. And shout out to Kenneth, who's doing the producing and direction and all our work behind the scenes there. So hey, Kenneth, thank you.
Got to keep an eye on Kenneth. He's liable to rig something up here we're not sure about, and you know we'll be surprised. But so far so good.
Well, he's on top of the jump cuts anyway, so we're trying to throw him a curve, but he's staying on top of it real well. Now, you know, I guess it was about 6 days ago, so we're A+6. The Apple iPad shipped last week, didn't it?
Oh, yes. April 3rd, that thing shipped out.
Okay.
The world is changing as we know it.
So everyone was looking for that, and my understanding was the first day it actually went on sale
That's right.
Retail. 300,000 went out of the stores first day. So.
Exactly, and they had so many pre-orders. Now you've got and there's different camps talking about this, and you know, really, should we be this excited about a new item? Okay, something else to buy. It's $499. That's $500, Tom. I don't know. Have you got $500 laying around somewhere? Did you?
I don't know. I'll bet you have your iPad though. Have you already got that?
I want to tell you. I want to let it be known. I've got it on order. I've got some signatures down there, so we're hoping to see that thing soon. We're going to bring it in on TMT and just take a look at it. But all right, so there are people that say this is okay. Look, this is just another gadget. There are other people that say that this is going to change the way we use computers. We've lugged around those heavy laptops with 3 hours of battery time,
right, yeah.
And we've got our desktop, and you know we have to have all this connectivity everywhere. This item is really going to bring about some changes here, because I've been watching it very closely. I watched a guy open it up on the streaming network on Saturday and plug it in, get it synced up, and start to use it, and recorded it. So I actually got to see one live on Saturday, April 3rd, on the web. I got to tell you, Tom, it is impressive.
So what's the difference between that and an iPhone? I mean, we had the iPhone sitting over in the Mexican restaurant in El Carrizo, by the way. I want to shout out to them.
Little plug there for
they aren't doing any advertising with us. But anyway, the guys at El Carrizo. So we're over there at El Carrizo, and we wanted to see if we could access our online stuff over there, and we could. So what's the difference? I mean, I'm not sure about carrying around a pad. I can carry around a small laptop. So why would you?
Well,
why
there
would you
go.
even want one?
Well, first of all, your first question about the iPhone. Okay, this is a very small screen.
Yep.
The iPhone is an amazing device. It's been copied a lot. We have the Nexus phones out there. All of those new high tech.
The Droid, the MVD,
Android, all of those
that
phones
stuff,
are out
yeah.
there. A wonderful devices, connectivity with the web, download, put movies on there, talk, and do the kind of business you need to do on those things. It's pretty amazing. Now, the iPhone has a small screen there. And what this iPad has is a much larger tablet-sized screen. It's made from a one-piece aluminum, just like the MacBook Pros are made. Very stylish, a great screen. It plays all of the 140,000 applications from the iPhone, plus the new iPad apps. Not that many out there, but quite a few out there. It is Wi-Fi capable. Now, you have to be. And the ones that we've been looking at, we've looked at the ones who it has Wi-Fi, but you have to be in a Wi-Fi hotspot. You know what a hotspot is, Tom?
Yeah, I've been in between a rock and a hard place, so I don't know.
No, not exactly.
Not the same thing.
Not exactly the same thing.
You know, this is a real cultural deal because on television last week already, iPad had product placements on television, and it was sort of a deal in some of the comedies on the different cable shows and so forth.
Absolutely. So, and you're going to see more and more of these because it's really changed the industry. You know, every once in a while, and typically you have to give it to Apple. And you know who we're talking about. You're one of your favorites. Who is it?
Steve.
Steve. It's the Steve guy.
Yep.
So Steve comes out with such an innovation that changes things. It makes our lives a little easier. Now, it makes our lives a little more expensive, too, by the way. $500. If you want a case, it's another $100. They got all kinds of plug-ins and things that you're going to add up. So
now, Steve's the king of marketing, and he knows how to build drama around a product. Again, I just think it's incredible that only something like this could command that much attention on television and be a cultural event.
Well, it is a cultural event, and you know what? It's amazing. Now, here we are in a time where, you know, everything in the news, the economy, we've had layoffs, and, you know, everything's on this downside. Maybe we're coming back up, but here is a segment of the market, technology, that has not blinked during this time, and a new innovation, a $500 item, and people can't wait to get their hands on this thing. It's by the way, I want to say it's a beautiful piece of equipment. It is a ebook reader. It reads all the e-publications that are out there, PDF files, and so forth, so on, in color. You know, if you want to change a page, you just swipe across it. It changes folds the page over just like you're in a book. You can watch movies on it. Netflix is on this thing. It has
in
all
education news, the big story this week was e-books and e-textbooks, and that was the going thing, and whether e-textbooks would be as good as regular textbooks. And I really think that that issue's already been resolved. I mean, good, bad, indifferent. It's happening.
It's there,
yeah,
and that's exactly right. And I'm hoping that the cost, those textbooks, if you buy them, $120 for a book, and you have to have several books for a course or things like that.
You make that $500 back really quickly if you're taking a book down offline or downloading for $14.95 or whatever, rather than. So that's really changed the industry, and people in publishing. And the other thing I've noticed, Mike, I was looking at CDs, and CDs have really come down in price. Is that because of the competition from downloading online and that kind of thing?
Well, you have to look at Apple once again with iTunes. I mean, that entire change from so illegal with Napster and all of those other peer-to-peer ideas out there that you could download illegally, and then all of a sudden they came along with 99 cents for a tune, and you could download it and pay for it, and it's legal, and that thing has been tremendous. So the iTunes store, it has movies, books, all of those kind of things on there.
So what's going to happen to the CD industry? I mean, is that going to be, because I'm a CD guy, I know my son plugs his MP3 player in the car and so forth, but now to me, I just don't.
All right,
the whole MP3 thing, I'm just not into that.
No worries. Here's the surprising fact. the CD sales have gone up.
Oh, have they?
They have. As a
So
matter
why
of
the
fact,
price has gone down? Is it a marketing
It
deal? or
is.
what?
It's competition. I can download that album for $9 on
Right.
iTunes.
Oh, I see.
The entire album.
So the price has been reset.
That's right.
Okay.
And so, yeah,
All
there's
right.
a shift in that. But
Yeah.
things are more accessible. You're going to have to get over maybe some reluctance to download and pay online and do some of the things. Maybe some people still out
Right.
there haven't downloaded things from the web
Yep.
yet. But it's a new world. This invention is coming along here. I think it's going to really make a difference. You can put your PowerPoints, or the Apple has another name for that, and the documents that you have, and display those, and even connect up this iPad to a projector and do a presentation at a conference. But here's the most important thing, and somebody said this is one of the most important features of the new iPad. It has 10 to 12 hour battery life.
Oh, well, see, that's a
All
difference,
day.
and it gives you the ability to go out and do things.
Yeah, and I just talked to a
Yeah.
person here at Columbus State University who has an iPad. Didn't bring it with him. I would have still been there. Might have missed the show today. But when I asked him about it, that's the first thing he said. He said, "Look, I played this thing all day long. I watched movies. I did this other work that I had to do, and so." It was still had battery life in it, so that is going to be amazing. Going on a trip on an airplane, those kind of things, you can still get your work done because you don't have to recharge that. In that laptop that runs about 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And that's it, and then you're dead in the water. So this is truly an innovation. I think it's going to make a difference in a lot of places here.
Well, right after break, we'll be back, and I have a couple other things to bring up today. First, the big question, and I've had this from a lot of folks, just where is the city located, the flying city that's behind us, where we're constantly moving through it, and
I just got back from there, by the way.
Yeah, I've had questions about where is that. It certainly doesn't look much like Columbus. Doesn't look like Jordan Hall, and high above Jordan Hall, looking down on Hardaway High School across the way, you can see that. But doesn't look anything like that. So where really is that city? And I have to share, it's the city where Kenneth Grant is originally from, and he brought that video in. He flies around that city.
He does that too, and he brought that bug over in the. Is it at the right-hand corner or left-hand corner? I can't tell from here, but I tell you, we've got a bug, and I want to apologize. I want to apologize to all our viewers. It's necessary in this day and time. There's the bug.
There's the bug. Well, anyway, we'll be right back after break when I ask Mike, is Google set for world domination? Here we are on COE HP TV, high atop Jordan Hall at the College of Education and Health Professions, Columbus State University.
This College of Education and Health Professions program was brought to you by the Dean's Office, Dr. David Rock, Dean, and the Department of Counseling, Foundations, and Leadership. COEHP TV brings you programming from the faculty, students, and staff in the College of Education and Health Professions. Learn more about our programs, admissions, initiatives, and other informative events by tuning to our webcast presented live from the studio located in Jordan Hall. Stay tuned for live classroom streaming coming soon on COEHP TV.
So Mike and I were talking the other day about the iPad, and then Mike said, well, you know, there might be a Google Pad in the offing, and we have Google Mail and Google this. You know, my question is, who's out there? Who's ahead? I mean, I know Google negotiates directly with China. In other words, as a nation to nation, it's diplomatic relations. And so what's happening with the Google or the Google version of the tablet pad or whatever, Mike? Is that something that's coming around?
It is a great question, because what we're going to see are a lot of tablets coming out. By the way, Microsoft came out with a tablet in 2002. Does anybody remember that?
Yeah,
let me tell you, no, they don't.
Is Microsoft even around? Oh, yeah, there's Windows 7 or 8 or whatever.
Yes, Windows 7.
I have Vista. I don't know Vista.
Okay, you're behind the times, but hey, we'll help you with that. Now, Windows 7, by the way, from my point of view personally, it's a great operating system. I've had it on my computer a couple months now. The thing is rock solid.
Really?
Does everything that you need it to do. I highly recommend it for all those Windows folks. But yeah, back to your question. This iPad has shaken up the industry. Everybody's in a foot race now to come up with this pad that'll compete with it. You know, they were always competing with the iPhone.
Yeah.
Well, now they got the iPad to compete with. And of course, Google, and we talked about world domination of Google before, but they're just so large. I mean, we're talking billions and billions of dollars in influence around the world. They're actually somebody that can tell China no. And mean it. It's kind of an interesting notion. So yeah, I think Google's coming out with a pad next year. It's going to be how fast they can get it to market. HP is going to have that, but you know, Apple has set a pretty high standard with 10 to 12 hours of battery life here. They have just an amazing design. Everything about it is very sleek and futuristic, kind of up to a pretty high standard. So it's going to be are you going to accept some iPad-like device that doesn't do what the iPad is doing, the 3-hour battery life and the things it has? I think it's going to be interesting.
Well, you'll have iPad Lite, and you'll have folks who pay less money to get iPad Lite. But you know, thinking about all these tech firms, and the tech firms have the infrastructure, and now we talk about all our communications being in the cloud. In other words, on one server backed up on another server.
Right.
Here we are, we're streaming out. We don't know where we're streaming to. We could be streaming to Terre Haute, Indiana first.
I want to say hello to my fans in Terre Haute.
Yeah, and then we could be streaming out to California. And all that to get back here to Columbus State. It's just unbelievable. So all this is going on. So are tech firms really the nations of the future? In other words, whoever controls and has the total control of the communication, because everything's done through that style of communication. Are they in charge? In other words, governing us?
Well, I don't know about governance, but I agree with this notion of being in charge. You have to think about this, but our cars are becoming more electronic. The Ford industry, by the way, Ford Motors, those cars have Ford Sync. It syncs up everything, all your electronic devices. It has navigation. We're becoming more and more dependent. They were even talking about self-guided cars, not that long ago. They're not that far out in the future, but electronics. We talked about education. We talked about how changing this electronic world that we're living in now is changing education, how we teach actually in the classroom and online. And you know very well, Tom, you have a classic that appears on Thursday nights or Thursday evenings.
There you go.
4:30. Right. Your educational psychology course.
And now my students don't want to come to class. They'll sit at home and watch it on web stream instead of coming to class.
So this electronic age, this new age of electronics it's changed everything. Media, learning, devices that we have. It's hard to see that this in its totality and how it's affecting us. I still think we have to make good choices about how this affects us and whether or not we are going to race after that latest gadget and try to keep up with that. But you got to admit, it's a driving force in the economy.
Okay, here right now you have Steve Jobs setting the table with design savvy and marketing savvy, and at the same time you have Microsoft sort of controlling the platform that runs on most computers, and then finally you have Google that seems to have a lock on what's happening out there in the cloud as far as streaming. So my question is, it seems like each of those entities is sort of in the main or core business of the other entity. So ultimately, is there going to be one? Are they going to merge? Are they going to continue to compete? And if so, are they going to specialize, or is one ultimately going to win competition there?
If I had the crystal ball and I could forecast that for you, Tom, I sure would. I would certainly like to buy stock in that company that's going to make it and move all the rest of them out. But I like this competition between these companies. I think it's good for the individual. We get into innovation, the costs come down. We actually can control our lives, make better choices for ourselves as these companies sort of battle. But by the wayside, there's some companies that are being swept away. Palm, we were talking about that in the news just recently. Somebody's going to buy those guys. And so, it's always moving up and moving back in that. I just hope it's good for the consumer and for us as individuals and as a society that we're making good choices about this. There are all kinds of questions about how much you put the information out on the cloud, your banking, personal finance, important information, and who is there privacy? That might be another show at some point. Just talk about, there's been some writing about
privacy,
that.
Actually, and if you ever talk to a credit reporting firm, you'd be amazed at the information they have about you individually, and it's not things you would commonly think are out there, but they can ask you questions and astound you with what they know about you already.
And with this move in technology we've been talking about on this show, I think we have to be savvy consumers about all of this and make good choices for ourselves. Jeff Conklin's been on these shows. He said it's not for everyone, as he said.
Right.
This technology thing. So, we're going to have to weigh that and make good decisions for ourselves with this coming up. But I can't wait to get that iPad, Tom.
Talking about different platforms, we're looking at different technologies right here at Columbus State. We're looking at new platforms, instructional platforms for online learning. But the question is online learning the way we're ultimately going to go, or is there going to be something new? Does the format need to be smaller for iPhone? Does it need to be geared toward iPad? And then finally, what about this video format? Admittedly, video format's a little tougher to do, but is it a little more engaging for students? So all these questions, actually, I have no idea which direction to go as far as instruction, because you need a lot of irons in the fire and see which one plays out as far as what takes off and has the most effectiveness as far as instruction.
That's it. You just raised the effectiveness issue, and I think we talked on one of our very first shows of our first or second show about the impact on teaching of all this technology and distance learning and the video that we're doing. I mean, here we are in the College of Education and Health Professions here at Columbus State University, and we're in Jordan Hall. 213 is a classroom that has video equipment, recording capabilities, mics and videos and so forth. And we're doing that each Monday through Thursday for our classes here that are in that room. Here's what I like about that, and I'm not sure the answer to the end answer with this, or the end game, but we have the option of using that video in our distance learning online classes. We can go in knowing that we're going to be recorded and begin to adjust the way we teach to make it more effective for that viewer who's sitting behind a computer at home, that end user. And so we have to adjust the way that we're teaching in order to have that impact that we want to have on that student. I want to have if I'm doing an online course, I want to have just as much impact as if that person's sitting in front of me and we're having that face-to-face conversation. You're hearing the content and you get to react to it. It has to be that interactive piece. I think that's where we're going. I'm looking forward to it. And I tell you, it's going to be a little more work up front for the instructor, even for the student. It's a change. I think it's going to be worth it. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see some of those courses you have up there, Tom. I know you've been recording all semester.
Well, it's all about the idea of quality and excellence and continuing that. I read something really interesting the other day about art, and it was really about jazz music. And a young jazz musician was playing with a a venerable veteran of the old 1940s style of,
the
of
old
jazz.
guard. Yes,
but she was playing with him and doing a great job. But when she was interviewed, she said, that's good, and what he does is terrific, but art changes. Every generation has a new art. I'm about the new jazz for the new generation, and then my time will be here and my time will be over. So I think it's about what is the quality and the effectiveness and the efficacy for this time. And anyway,
makes sense,
cool stuff to think about.
Well,
anyway, we're about out of time on show 10.
All right.
So
double digits.
Happy 10th anniversary. Here we are at the 10th show. That's a real milestone, and it's been a lot of fun. Anyway, Mike, we'll see you next time, and next time we'll probably talk a little bit about the open house scheduled for April 21st, and talk about what all's going to happen at the studio, room 218, High Top Jordan Hall, COEHP TV at Columbus State University.
See you next time.